Welcome back to the She Thrives Influential Women podcast. I am your host, Lori Murphy, and I am an empowerment coach for women. And for some of you who are new to the podcast, I just want to let you know a little bit about myself. I am an empowerment coach for women, like I mentioned before. And what I love to do and what empowers me is being a guide for women in their journeys. I am a recovering alcoholic with almost 13 years sober. I have been through my own journey of healing, growth, and transformation. And I am passionate about helping women in their journeys as well. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do go ahead and do so you never miss another episode. And today I am so excited to present my current guest. Her name is Kim Fischer. She is amazing. And I was just talking to her before the episode, where I have just been gravitated toward her energy since the day I met her in Rochester back, I believe, in March at a women's expo, where she got up on stage and she spoke. She is an amazing public speaker, and it's her passion to help women through that, which I'll tell a little bit more about that. She is an intuitive business coach, speaker, author, and CEO of Kim is Manifesting. She is the creator of the Voice Lab, Rise Revolution membership, and the Soulified podcast. I said that wrong. I apologize. Her brand's purpose is to transform the landscape of entrepreneurship by guiding impact-driven women to unearth their innate potential, voice, and power. Her business accomplishes this through immersive memberships, high-level masterminds, and one-on-one coaching, and exclusive in-person events and retreats. So without further ado, I'd love to be able to have Kim come on and introduce her. Kim, how are you this morning?
Hi, Lori. Thank you so much for having me on as a guest. I'm doing awesome, especially because I'm in your presence today, and I can't wait to talk to you and your community.
Oh, it's awesome to have you. How's your morning been so far?
It's been good. Today, I woke up with some good energy as well. We were talking before the recording. Slept really well, got up and filled up the bird feeder. I'm telling you, I'm such a bird nerd. So anytime I get to get out there and feed my feathery friends first thing in the morning, it's a good day.
I love that. I love that. It's very therapeutic to be able to
It
have that.
is. It
For
is. And
sure.
that is my way of, I always tell my bird friends, when I eat, you eat. So when we get some good cash flow coming in, I get the extra special suet and the little berries and the nuts, and I spoil them. I love it.
That's great. That's awesome. And I'm sure they love it too, and they're very grateful.
Absolutely.
They know where to
Absolutely.
go for the good stuff.
Oh, yeah. Word gets out. Word gets out.
So, Kim, I'd love to hear a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your journey and what led you to your passion and calling to help women with their entrepreneurship and, helping them get into public speaking as well.
When I was younger, I was bullied a lot in middle school and high school for various reasons. And that showed me that being who I was wasn't safe. And so I really shut myself down. And as a result of that, I started to attract in not the best group of friends because they too were in the business of shutting themselves down. So that progressed as I went into college and then later to get married. I consistently surrounded myself with great people, but also with individuals who really were uncomfortable with their power and their light, Lori, so that anytime I went to shine, anytime I stood up for myself or shared a unpopular opinion, I'd get either ignored, told to be quiet in some ways, directly or indirectly, but just a lot of shame
Mm.
was placed on me. And so it wasn't until very later on in my adult life, after my divorce, going back into graduate school, that I started to find my voice. And not only my voice, but my power. So whenever I say voice, I'm always like equals power. And we could talk about more what I view power as, but
Mhm.
I began to feel like I had a voice because I was speaking more and people were going, I love your ideas. Tell me more. And that was the first time ever in my life since before being bullied and before high school shaming and before my marriage that I actually found that what I have to say and contribute is of value and that I matter. And that's when everything changed because I started pulling on the roots of my yoga teaching, which I did for 25 years. I started looking at cognitive science and psychology, which I was studying in my advanced degree. And then my passion of manifesting and subconscious work. And I kind of smashed it all together and made a framework for myself to start to really grow and be able to speak in various rooms,
Mhm.
platforms, situations. And it's addicting now, Lori. I'm at this
Right.
place where I once was medicated even because of public speaking, and now I'm free for that. And I do this as a living. I teach people how to get on stage or just speak up more in the bedroom, the boardroom, or the business. And it's so important to me for that reason because I know what it felt like
Yeah.
to be extinguishing your own light because people around you for so long told you, I don't want to hear it. And that's
Mhm.
weird or that's too much. And now to be on the other side, it's so liberating and so powerful that I've just got to help people find their way into their power and their voice. And that's why I'm here.
That's amazing. When was it at what point did you first get on a stage and know that that was what you were meant to do?
It's interesting because I taught yoga for 25 plus years and I ran an award winning yoga studio. I had 3 locations at one point. And all of this is to say that I had been speaking publicly for many years, right? But it
Mhm.
wasn't until I got on my first stage by accident that I realized, oh, okay, this is totally meant for me and this is my absolute divine calling. So a friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm going to be, I'm sick and I'm supposed to be speaking on this panel. Do you want to fill in for me at this women's empowerment event?" And I said, "Oh, absolutely. That will for sure move my mission forward." I'm comfortable speaking in front of audiences. I facilitated group experiences. I'll be on a panel, no problem. But I had toyed with the idea of calling myself a motivational speaker for a while before that moment. So secretly, between myself and source, I've been manifesting one day I'll have a microphone in front of my face and I'll just amplify what I've been doing in the yoga studio. But it'll be down the road, I always thought. But little did I know that that day when I filled in for my friend on the panel, the the event owners came up to me and said, "Hey, would you like to keynote? Because our keynote just texted us she's sick. And if you can, we need you on stage in 10 minutes." And Lori, it took everything I had not to like throw up right there because I was so freaking nervous.
Yeah.
And everything inside of me, my brain said, run from this moment. Hell no, we can't do this. Like you have exactly 0 keynotes ready to go. You will mess it up. These people will never invite you back. You're gonna make it so no one wants to come. I was like, no, they should ask someone else. But because behind closed doors, I had been preparing my energy with my rituals and my practices and my prayer and my affirmations to continuously just raise my hand and say, use me, source, God, however you need to. I recognize that moment, even though I was afraid,
Mhm.
as a divine opportunity. So I said yes. And in 10 minutes, I got up on stage, delivered an incredible keynote because I spoke from my heart. And that led into a series of opportunities. I was invited to get on stage the next weekend. I was invited to keynote. I was invited to co-host
That's amazing.
women's empowerment events in Rochester. I became a monthly columnist in a digital magazine. It just exploded from a moment of me being filled with fear, but saying yes anyhow.
Mhm.
And so a part of my message there is we got to stop making our bodies wrong just because we feel fear. We should still be able to go ahead anyhow. So
Yes.
getting on that one stage, I mean, I'd like to say it was a surprise, but I was manifesting that for a long time and it finally happened. And now I'm hungry for the microphone, which is crazy because like I said, I was medicated at one point.
Yeah. It's interesting because everything you're saying, I'm like, ping, relate, because I had my experience is very similar in that my first public speaking event was in at Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Oh,
And
okay.
I have been, having that passion and desire to be a motivational speaker for several years. I actually had that calling before coaching
Oh, wow.
because I would go on social media platforms and I would speak about, motivational topics. I had a Facebook group where that's what I did. And I just felt it to my core, like, this is what I want. And then eventually it led to coaching as well. But then just showing up to Rochester
Mm.
and to the Women's Expo and meeting Desiree. Like, I was supposed to go to Cherry Hill as just a guest. I wasn't supposed to speak, but then she had somebody drop out.
Oh, I love that. There we go.
And I was like,
Yeah.
and she's like, she knew haven't done anything like that before, so she wasn't sure what to expect. And honestly, neither was I, but I literally just, even that morning, was just, God, take the wheel, you got this. And I spoke, have me say what you want me to say, what the message is that you want me to share. And I spoke from the heart. I had nothing written down, no, I practiced, because I knew what I
Yeah.
wanted to talk about. But I'm like listening to you and I'm like, it's almost just like you're kind of sharing my story at the same time.
That's incredible. I did not know all of that. And that makes that moment. I'm so glad I was there to witness you. Um, that's really special that you did not have notes. And it doesn't speak to bravery, it speaks to surrender. And that's what a lot of people don't get is this idea of I got to be perfect on the mic, I've got to memorize every word. You don't. You
Right.
have to have faith in yourself, faith
Mhm.
in God, but also more so than that, you already said it. You knew you wanted to be a motivational speaker because you've already been doing it. And so it became a part of your identity. So when the opportunity was there, Desiree felt it from you, first of all. Like that's 100%, right? She's
Mhm.
intuitive, but also that's the vibe you were given out. And then
Mhm.
you said yes because you knew it was divine assignment. I
Yeah.
love that we're like divine fill ins.
Yes. Yes.
Someone else's no. How many times has this happened in your life? And I wonder with your guests too, because think about this, guys. How many times has someone said no to something and it became an opportunity for you? We might not even know that. But
Right.
sometimes there are beautiful moments where we are directly placed to hear it.
Mhm.
Someone's no became our yes. And this is where we've got to get into the business of just saying sure,
Yes.
because that's a gift.
Yeah. I have been, and I've shared about this on the podcast, and that the power of saying yes. Saying yes to that one particular opportunity and the opportunities that flood with it. When I left that event in Rochester in March, I knew something was about to change. And then I got, then the opportunity for, Cherry Hill opened up and I said yes to that. Next thing you know, I'm in anthologies. I have a chapter in Born to Risk. I wrote an ebook and a podcast, and everything is just kind of like it falls into place all because I said yes to that one thing.
Yes.
And a
Mhm.
lot of the times I said no before was because of my own personal limited beliefs or that hesitation of fear, right? Fear of the financial insecurity or fear of, like you said, like, what if they never have me come back again? What if I do a terrible job?
Yeah. Right.
And, I believe that when we are authentically ourselves and we just allow things to come out naturally and as they're supposed to, there's it's almost like this is for me, like if I try to plan it and write it out and all the things, I I don't feel as energetically connected to it as I do when it just authentically comes out. Does that
Hmm.
make sense? And I have to be in
Yeah.
a space of just really trusting that this is what's supposed to come out of me today. You
Yes.
know?
Yes. And I feel like a lot of people can't do that. And so I love that you can because it's few. And I'm the same way. So what I started doing now and where I take people inside of my coaching programs is how do you and I do that, Lori? Because to someone else, that's a foreign language because they're very masculine, masculine women who
Mhm.
are really in their masculine energy. That's a better way of saying it.
Right.
It's show me the to-do list. I got to get the homework done. I want to script it and then I want to work the script and work the script. I've got a one-on-one client right now. For example, she's getting on stage next week in Dallas and I'm flying down to network
Oh.
but also to support her and be her hype woman on stage. And we've been working on her talk. She just keeps editing the script. And at one point, I was like, give me that. I want to throw out this script. You got to start just saying the word. But she's a copywriter, so she's a writer, right?
Mhm.
You and I are orators, and so for the person who's like, well, how can I do that? There is a process of learning how to drop from your head down into your heart and that's where I developed something called the vocal positioning system or the VPS for short. It's just like the GPS in your car. Like,
Mhm.
how do I get from point A to point B? We have to be able to do that with our own voice. And it's a descending from a place of egoic control that
Mhm.
says I gotta be perfect to I already am and I can trust and a part of that is there's an energetic side, Lori, of surrender and trust and faith and embodiment exercises like breath work, for example. But there's also a tactile move here. And for all my practical babes out there who are listening to it, like, you've got to just slow down the rate at which you speak. I don't know if
Mhm.
you know that you do that, Lori, but you have a great pace. You don't hurry.
Oh,
And
thank
that's
you.
important because you're letting your brain relax. If people speak really quickly like this all the time, they're kind of triggering themselves into fight or flight. And
Mhm.
then the brain thinks, oh, I got to get involved here. And they get flustered. And then they whoop, mass exodus out of this beautiful body. So by just slowing down the rate at which you speak, you can afford to stay present in your body and the words just come, just like you were saying.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I
there's a
love
technique. People don't realize that. Like it's just slow it down and a lot of your issues are going to be solved right there cuz to go slow is to be present
Yes.
and to be right here right now. So what you're really doing is two things. You're saying I trust the now moment and I want to be present. I want to feel.
Mhm.
And also, I am giving myself a break by breathing, and my brain is nice and relaxed. It's not sensing there's a threat. Because
Right.
let's face it, I mean, I don't know if you want to admit it, but were you nervous? Everyone's a little nervous to get up there and
Oh, my heart
speak.
was pounding.
Yeah,
My palms were sweating and there was
sweat.
this rush that was going on inside me and I was shaking.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's
know?
amazing how it takes over the body, and so if
Yeah.
you don't have that practical skill set of okay, let me embody, not even before you get on the mic, but during, like right
Mhm.
now, I'm intentionally speaking slower while my nervous system gets used to, okay, I'm being interviewed right now and people are going to hear this and I'm on a microphone
Yeah.
and that just keys up the nervous system. So breathing, I'm
Yes.
feeling my legs right now. I'm literally like feeling my butt cheeks on the seat. Like I'm really present with the fact that I'm seated and it's safe. And when you can do that, then you can get to this place where Lori and I are, where you can trust yourself and flow from the heart.
Yeah.
And the message gets out there, right, Lori? You're
Yeah.
never like, maybe you stumble over your words, but it's no big deal.
Yeah. I can say that that worked for me
Mm,
because, that morning, like when I went down to the hotel gym and I did like a little workout on the treadmill and I let myself just kind of sit and breathe and just, I know for me that I can be a very, like you were saying, like talk really fast when the energy is really going. And,
yeah.
you know, to be able to start from a place where I'm already feel like I started off my day in that present space where I was
Yeah.
able to just be, definitely I think was a key factor because like I see, like you were mentioning before, it's like when I got on stage, I mean, the adrenaline was going. I was shaking, I was sweating, I was very nervous. And there was like a certain point where it felt like the room started to kind of like cave in and I thought I was gonna pass out. And I'm like,
Yes. Yes.
breathe, you know? One of the things that works for me too is trying to throw in some humor. And that's why, like, it's like sometimes like when I got out there, I was like, oh, that was a rush, and just
Yes.
sometimes that relaxes my mind too, but it's like fine, definitely giving myself that moment to just take a deep breath and just, you know what I mean?
Yes. And
Slow down. Even though I only had 5 minutes, but I still had to slow down, you know?
yeah, yes. Yes. And one of the one of the terms that I coach on is, instead of high performance, true performance. And what I mean by that is exactly what you're describing. And this is really important for anyone who's listening or watching that feels like they're a perfectionist. Like, I get that. I'm there too with you. One of the
Yeah, me too.
downsides, yeah, one of the,
Me too.
I mean, we produce great stuff as a result. Let's not get all down on the perfectionists out there. We're freaking awesome, but we're pretty hard on ourselves and other people at times too. So one of the things that I see a lot, and that I used to be in this camp of, was I can't sweat, I can't shake, I can't feel nervous, because that means something. And for most people, it means I'm not meant to speak, or I'm doing a bad job already. So instead of high performance, when I say true performance, it really means allow your body to be however it is, and it's not wrong. And this is something that's really important to me right now, is not making ourselves wrong. Because when we say, I shouldn't be sweating right now, because if I lift my arms up, someone will see my pit stains. Like, people, when I coach people, this is a huge concern, turning red, turning all, and it's like, first of all, no one's going to remember that at all.
No.
No one's, no one, and it's natural. Second of all, someone will see it and go, oh, thank God someone else does it too. So
Hmm.
literally your sweat and your redness and your shaking gives someone else permission to be human. So go for it.
Hmm.
But three, it can't be the reason you don't go forward and move your mission forward. So when we make our bodies wrong, we are literally saying, I have to wait and go perfect myself and be something else over here. Excuse me, something else over here that's perfect. And then when I'm there, oh, okay, then I'll be the great coach. Then I'll surely be a great speaker. Then I'll motivate the masses. And it's like,
Yes.
oh, no, 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 no. You made yourself wrong to get there. And what does that say for your life and your message and the people you're moving forward? So I'm very passionate about us not making our bodies wrong, and
Hmm.
instead descending right into the honey, right into the heat, and loving the sweat, and
Yes.
loving the fire, because it's a sign that you're aroused
Yes.
for what you're doing, and like,
Yes.
and then it goes away in 4 minutes anyhow.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Exactly.
right.
Exactly. And I think I remember when I watched I had one of the girls record on my phone the video, and I remember I looked at it. I went, "Oh God, I look very sweaty," because it was also a 90-degree day.
It was a hot day.
It was.
Yes.
But I'm like, you know what? So I have some shine, because for me, it's also coming to this place of letting go of perfection, which is a hard thing for me to do because I am very overly critical of myself. And I, like you were mentioning, like I have to be perfect to be a coach. I have to be perfect to do this. And all of that is just the lies I tell myself that keep me held back. And it's almost like it's imposter syndrome. It's creeping up saying, well, you're not perfect at this. So, maybe you need to practice coaching some more, or maybe you need to practice speaking before you get on a stage. And the truth is that I think that if we're called to it, right? If energy is pulling us, if God is pulling us over to this thing, it is meant for us. And,
100.
you know, we are perfectly imperfect and human beings are going to sweat, like you said. They're going to stumble on their words. It's going to happen and it's okay
Yeah.
because people are also going to relate to that a little bit, relate to it more because you don't sound programmed or a robot. You are speaking truth. You
Yeah.
are being you. And that truth there's so much power in that.
Mm, yes. 100%. And you're right. People can feel that. And that's what they want to feel. They want to feel. They want to hear someone, yeah, sure, articulate a message well so that they learn. But really what's sitting on top of that is I hope someone passes enthusiasm to me today because
Hmm.
man, I need it.
Hmm.
That's real. People are sitting in their households, going to work, coming home for work, and they're hopping on your YouTube channel or they're coming to my podcast too. And they're going, I just hope someone could pass that spark to me today. And
Yeah.
how do you intend to do that if you're caught in the prison of the head, the battleground of the head, I call it? You've
Yes.
got to be speaking from the heart. And to go back to something you were beautifully articulating was that we don't need to be ready. We think we have to be ready to preparate, like to get
Hmm.
ready for the book, get ready for the stage. And
Yes.
on some level, when you decide that you're going to start that podcast and you're going to start the YouTube channel and you're just going to start speaking at a camera while you're not perfect, yeah, your competency will grow and that's great. You're going to learn how to get to the point faster, for example, which is a really important, valuable skill. So
Hmm.
as your competency and skill set grows, your confidence, those two C's just kind of go together. So for
Yep.
sure, practice now while you have 0 subscribers. And don't stop because the moment knock, 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 opportunity comes knocking, it will. You want to be in a place where you can just say yes and go, but it's not, you got to get ready. I say you've got to get resolved.
Hmm.
Readiness isn't a requisite, but being resolved is. And what I mean by that is what we've been talking about. We know it's not about us, it's not about being perfect. It's about speaking to people and moving their lives forward, helping other people out. And that means that all the human being needs to do on the other end of that is just raise her hand or their hand and go, I'll go now. The human doesn't feel ready, but I know ready is not a requisite. I just need to be resolved. And that's a switch that you flip.
Hmm.
It's a feeling inside of, I'll go now because tomorrow's too late.
Right.
And I'll help now because I have a voice. And
Yes.
because I woke up today, let's go. That's now you're ready, right? Like you're ready. The readiness that you thought you needed, it's here now. And that's where the opportunities just start to flow in. So who's when you're watching this and listening to this, what I want you to ask yourself is, where are you waiting in the energy of I got to get ready? Because that's a hesitation, it's a holding pattern, and you're already ready
Hmm.
because God put the passion in you. Lori, you were just saying, like, you felt it was time to speak on certain things. That desire to speak, as I see it, is the moment. God was like, you're ready, and put the divine desire inside of you. And
Yes.
that's all I need to know is if I have the desire, I've been tapped on the shoulder, I'm ready to speak. So now I don't need to be ready. I just need to be resolved that that's
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And the thing is too, it's like I'm sitting here, I'm also like recalling the time in my life where I didn't have a voice. And it's
Mm,
not even that I was, not ready or telling myself I wasn't ready. It was a lot of it was I was silenced a lot and told that
okay.
and I was pretty much drilled into my head that what I had to say wasn't important, you know? And that was just kind of like throughout life. Like I could sit there and probably think of 10 different scenarios, but who has time for that? And it would be like, if I would remember there was a time where it'd be like, I really want to talk about this, but no one's going to care. No one's going to
Yes.
listen. And it's really not that important. And I can remember going to say something and someone be like, what were you going to say? And be like, it's not important.
Oh, that's interesting. Right.
And
No,
the
you're
thing is,
okay. I can see myself in that moment. Yeah, we
yeah,
do that. Hmm.
yeah. And also even once in a while, I found myself, even in the recent months, there's been moments where it's like, I have felt like it's not important.
Yeah.
But the thing is that this is where you find your voice is exactly what we're talking about right now. It's like doing the recording when you have no followers and
Yes.
just sitting in front of your microphone and recording something that you want to talk about and just posting it,
Yep.
you know, just take a deep breath and just hit that post button and don't worry about it. Like sometimes I will avoid even like I won't ever go back and listen to an episode. I never go back and listen to my podcast. I
You
just
don't?
put
Okay.
not often. Sometimes I'll go back and listen to clips, but I never actually
Yeah.
sit and listen to a full episode because I will critique the shit out of myself. Or I
Yes.
don't try to get hung up on how many followers I have or how many people have seen it because it's there. And the right
Yes.
person is going to come across it when the time is right. But finding your voice is really just about taking that first initial step. You don't even have to do a recording. It can be a written post that you put on social
Yeah.
media. And it's
Right.
just like,
Right.
you know what I mean? And trying not to get caught up on the likes or the comments because somebody's reading it. You are impacting somebody, regardless if you
100%.
know it or not. Something you are saying about what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, you are helping another person, even if you don't know what's happening, because somebody is paying attention to you.
Hmm. Yes.
And
And
just
we need you.
knowing that,
Mhm.
know that your voice and what you have to say is valuable, because even if it's to your, the way I look at it is if I'm helping one person, then I am fulfilling my mission and I am doing what God's purpose is for me.
Yes. Yeah, you're like a stone being skipped across the surface of the water. I get that visualization.
Yeah.
Or even like a stone being thrown into some still water. It's one stone, it's one splash, but then you have this ripple effect that goes out in all directions. And you're absolutely right. You don't even know how the sentence you utter in a video that's got one like and one share and it's your mom. Right, but, like, someone else saw it. Maybe they didn't like it because I also find too, I don't know if you felt this way or noticed this, but I feel like when you're really honest, if if you really share, some people won't like because they don't want to show that they're there too, and I think that there's a little bit of an ego barrier, which is fine, like, I get that. We're all slowly recognizing our vulnerability and the usage of it, but don't so if you're not getting likes, that doesn't mean you're not getting the views because we get
Yes.
those count we get to see both, right? On Instagram and
Yes.
social media, you see the views and you see the likes, and it's easy to go, "Wow, man, all these people are viewing it, but no one's liking it." And you got to remember that to your point, it's not about the likes. It's not even about the views. It's about you putting in the reps but trust that that person that needed to hear it, they're going to go out and they're going to change the way they speak. They're going to actually utter
Mhm.
your words because you're in their head.
Yes,
And now outside of social media, you're actually proliferating through that person. And what a privilege.
absolutely.
What an honor to take up someone's heart space and head space like that. And it blows my mind thinking of the impact we can have. I had just had someone to ground this in reality. When I had my yoga studio back in the day, Lori, this blew me away. Um, I had a young lady who went on a retreat with me. Uh, and this was probably in 2012 or 2013. Okay.
Mhm.
And I was her first yoga retreat. And I remember her very fondly. We had a great conversation afterwards. She was going through a lot of trauma then. 1 month ago, I get a random Facebook message from her. It's been how many years? And she's like, I haven't forgotten you. I've been following and watching you all along. She's someone to my point who hasn't liked a dang thing. I didn't
Yes,
even know I didn't even know she still existed, right? But she's been
right,
following low key. And now she's at a point where she said to me, I think I might at some point want to get on stage and start to speak about what happened. I'm finally ready. And I said, I can't believe it. You just don't know
right.
who's watching and following. So our jobs are to keep speaking, keep going because
Yes.
we're fueling other people's fire.
Yeah. I mean, I have had majority of the clients that I have, I've gotten them from social media. And most of them are people that never liked or commented on a single post that I had no idea were even paying attention. But they finally, and I think sometimes they don't like or comment because maybe a part of it is they don't want other people to know that they're struggling, right? And it's more or
Yes.
less that they want
Right
to
on.
just keep it
Yep.
private. And
Yes.
then they'll message me like, I've been following you for a while and I really think that you could help me.
Mm,
And we schedule a call and we have a conversation and it goes from there.
I
And
love that.
that's one of the things I also have to remind myself because, like I said, I could critique the hell out of myself. And there are times where I've gone back and I've looked at my post, be like, okay, well, there's 300 people that have seen the video, but only two people liked it. you
Yeah.
know, and it's
Yes.
just like,
That can get in your head.
it can very easily, ping at you. And it's like, the point of putting it out there is to get the message out there. And the right people are going to gravitate towards you through your message.
That's right.
And some of our stuff isn't going to be for everybody. Not everybody is going to relate to our journeys or what we're putting out there. And it may just be something that, you know what, there's the unfollow button, there's the unfriend button, you know what I mean? Click it and
Yep.
go. Like, you know what I mean? I try because there was also points in my journey where I have like noticed somebody unfriended me and go, what did I say?
Oh
What
yeah. Dagger in the heart. Yeah, it sucks.
did
It
I do? It's like
absolutely. I get unfollows all the time on my email list, and I go right in and I see who was it. I mean, I suppose you could say who cares, but I do care. But so again, I let my human body have. I don't make myself wrong. I have the moment of oh, but
yeah,
then I go okay because that's actually really good.
yeah.
Yeah, there are voices, and this is another part of being able to speak from your power, which that to me, power is the royal power.
Mhm.
And it's the divine inside of you that is also you're a part of, but it is you, right? So it's when you access that power, you can speak differently and you're speaking from a different filter. But what that does, and I love that we're having this conversation,
Yes.
is it can polarize a room and it's supposed to. This is the next level. So if anyone's a people pleaser, I'm recovering people pleaser right here. Yeah,
Girl,
it's
the
so
amount of things I'm recovering from in my life, I mean, the list is endless.
I'll just keep raising her hand for all of them. Yeah. But people pleasers, man, we have it so hard with this because when someone unfollows or unfriends or even in real life unfriends, right? Which that happens too now that we're in our 40s. I have lost friends. I have told friends to leave, but I have been unfriended by my friends. And it's a part of it because as you rise in your power and you are able to articulate without the filter or shame or fear, you naturally, by design, will split the room. And it's good. You want people who should not be working with you to notice that and feel it and then say, no, thank you. Because on some level, and I've learned this the hard way, when you water down your voice and you water down your message, you become a net that gets casted out. And I think you just capture the wrong people
Yes.
because you weren't quite clear. And then they're in your programs. And if there's other entrepreneurs listening to this, this is when you get the problem child in your coaching programs. They're not compliant. They want to move their calls. Maybe they're late on their payments. There's all these different issues that tend to creep up. And I wonder, gosh, I mean, it started off so great, but I recognized I called them in because my language was kind of wishy-washy and I wasn't really standing in my conviction. I'll give you a grounded example. A while ago, when I was transitioning from the yoga world
Mhm.
into the straight up coaching world, I kept attracting in individuals who were working through trauma. And that's not my jam, but I didn't know that yet. And
Right.
so I had to work with individuals who were really hurting. And they were coming into my, at the time, I was a manifestation coach. So all I taught was manifesting and subconscious work. And so they'd come in for the magic, but ultimately we'd arouse their nervous system so much that they'd get angry and then they would have more triggers.
Mhm.
And so then they get mad at who? Me.
Right.
And so there was a season, Lori, where I was like, what is going on? Because people were wanting refunds. I had some people that were crapping on me on social media. I mean, I had some haters for a hot second and I was like, I felt awful. I was like, this is going to ruin me. What is happening? But then I recognized I am still trying to please everyone
Yes.
and I'm not meant to work with. So I finally, the words came in. I was in deep contemplation, desperately in meditation of like, show me, show me, show me. How do I clean this up? And the
Mhm.
words came to me and it said, don't work with me because you need healing. Work with me because you want activation. And
Yes.
I thought, so I immediately grabbed my phone and got on social media and I was like, I announced it to the world. And that protected me and my assets and my coaching, but it also protects the listener and the client so that they can immediately go, nope, you're not for me. And no one's hurt as a result. And then you quickly can attract in who you're supposed to work with.
Right. And I think, I think as coaches, especially when I think even throughout, even if we've been a seasoned coach and we've been doing it for a number of years, you may fall into a situation where you learn that that's not what works for you or that's not for you. And you kind of switch gears on the direction and the path, right? Like I could sit there and say, like, when I first started coaching, I wanted to work with everybody, and I wanted to help them with everything. And I'm like, but I can't. And that's how I've learned. And I've heard this also in trainings that that's how we do fail because we piss people off if we can't deliver what their expectations are.
Mm.
And we tell them that we can, or we're not necessarily sure. So it's like I try to now be mindful of that. Like, can I really help with this particular trauma?
Mm.
I mean, I can be a support, but I can recommend maybe you go see this person or this type of,
Yes.
or get this help. I'm here to help you, but I can't, this isn't my area of expertise, but I can give you support while you're working through that elsewhere. And that's a tough pill to swallow, I think, sometimes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you realize that like I said, like I've had my own experiences with healing through trauma and the work I've done, but I utilized somebody who specialized in that area
Yeah.
only.
Yep. Yep.
and didn't try to play the hero.
Yes. There you
So
go.
I'm like, I don't, so it's interesting that you say that too, because it's like even I try to sometimes when I put something out there like content that I only speak from my true experience and I make it, try to make it clear that I'm not an expert. I'm just
Mm.
speaking from what's worked for me.
Yeah, I hear that, and I see from in you right now when you say that there's a filter, there's a pause, it's like it's almost like you're going, okay, before I release this, is it is it in integrity with who I am? And that's seasoned coach, and that's something that everyone can learn how to do. Because just next to, oh my gosh, I can't be the hero, I can't fix everyone, is the fear of, well, will I earn enough? Will I rise to the top fast enough? Will
Yeah.
I get enough people to support X, Y, and Z? And what we're saying is yes. Like, so if you're listening to this and you're questioning, well, shoot, if you're telling me the more powerful I get, the more my voice will polarize, I don't know that I can afford to polarize. I'm telling you, you can, because this is where your vocal power leads you into even charging more.
Yeah.
Because right when you magnetize in through your power, just your presence, your voice, that you are really clear on who you are, your clients feel that certainty in you.
Hmm.
And and this is where price isn't price anymore. It's more like I need that certainty. Here's thousands of dollars on the table, and so you make up for what you feel like you needed to work with 50 clients, you get it done in 4.
Yeah.
Right? Does so does for that, also for that coach who's like, I don't know if I can charge more. Before you think about that, think about your power, think about your energy. Are you diluted? Then you're not going to be able to hold the energy of a higher price. Man, this
Right.
podcast just is suddenly into this, but I love it. I love that we're meandering.
We're kind of just going in different directions, but
We're
but
going.
it
Yeah.
kind of ties in. It really does. But you know, like you're saying though, like when it comes down to that factor, you
Yeah.
know, I have played around and changed my rates on numerous occasions
Oh,
out of
yeah.
fear of somebody not saying yes because of what I was charging. And the
Yeah.
reality is that if you are looking for a new vehicle, your car is dead sitting in your driveway and you need a lasting vehicle that's going to get you to point A to point B safely and last you a number of years. Are you going to go for the car that's 130,000 miles on it and was poorly maintained just because it costs maybe $3,000? Or are you going to go with the car that's newer, 40,000 miles on it, or less, or even 5,000 miles on it, that's going to last you 10 years,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? And pay the extra expense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's kind of
Mhm.
like when you're looking for, like coaches, if you are listening to this and you are sitting there going like, are in that same boat, think about the value, the worth, not just for yourself, but for the clients, for your clients, journey, for
Yeah.
their results. Because the
Yes.
reality is that it's not about a number, it's really about the value of not only what you're providing or how valuable it is for your client to be able to get them to where they want to be.
Mhm. And it brings me right back to that feeling of feeling of knowing that you're transferring something much larger than you. It is the transfer of source knowledge, it is transfer of energy and power that you literally hold inside of you. So to bring it back to getting on stages, being able to speak on a podcast, heck, even being able to speak very calmly and lovingly inside of a heated argument with your significant other, it all comes back to your relationship with self.
Yes.
And are you willing to be in a more intimate relationship with self? Are you willing to love who you are, to throw out this idea you got to get ready to be resolved instead? Are you willing to love the sweat and the shaking and the nausea, the fear? Are you willing to love your fear and go forward anyway? Because that shift inside of you, for me, is the power. It's that royal power that puts you into queen energy and pulls you out of maiden energy. And suddenly everything lights up, not just your ability to speak well and own a room, but also your ability to just be a better participant in life, to show up
Yes.
more openly for all community. I'm talking like standing in line at the what are you doing? Standing in line at the grocery store. Why not start to spark up conversations? Why not just be a presence of openness? Every moment could be this divine opportunity to practice speaking, to practice being a better person.
Yeah.
It's not just when the mic's in front of you. This is embedded into all of life and who you're being.
Yeah.
Your relationship to self is so important.
And the thing is too, and I loved that, I heard this in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at the Bomb Global, Warrior Women's Conference was this one key thing that it's not about you. Your message, even though it might be your experience that you are sharing about, really isn't about you at all. It is about the person who's listening, the person who's reading. And I
Yes.
think that that takes a lot of pressure off of a person's shoulders when they're like, well, this really isn't about me. Because when you're thinking about the fact that you're doing it for somebody else, especially if you're a person who's called for service, that's like, okay, yeah, okay. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, okay,
Right.
now I can do this because it's really not about me. Like, you know what I mean? Because people like us who are called
100%.
to service, we're not doing it for our own benefit because we want to be helpful and of service to others. So it's like we get uncomfortable when the tables are turned and focused back on us, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes,
can you relate with
100%.
that?
Yeah, 100%. And this is why I say I can never teach you how to be a public speaker. I can only teach you how to be a public servant.
Yes.
It's 100% what you're saying. And this is the key switch energetically and mentally that we have to do to be able to get out of our own ways, get out of the head, descend into the heart, and descend into that royal power. Believe in yourself, right? Believe you're strong enough because you've already been chosen. That's why the desire showed up.
Hmm.
You've already been chosen. You're already ready. And now just open your mouth, create the document, create the PDF, write the book, do the thing
Yes.
because your people are literally waiting for that and they can't make a move. That's the thing is your words, your message, everything you're doing, Lori, it's medicine for people and that's not an egoic thing. It's a truth because it's channeled through, I believe. So the longer you hesitate, the longer people stay in a pattern of suffering. And when you know you've got the key and all you have to do is set it on the table for people, the ones that are really ready to do the work are going to pick up that key, unlock themselves. And now we've affected humanity on
Hmm.
such a beautiful level. But yeah, we learned a lot at that conference, Balm Global. I'm so excited. I can't wait to do it again.
Yes.
Um, and
I
hear
can't wait
you
to
speak on stage again. I can't
I
wait to
cannot
speak again.
wait. Like
Yeah.
I'm kind of exploring, what's out there for as far as like conferences. I really want to,
Good.
put together everything because the thing is that I really cannot wait to be able to speak on stage. Like I manifest it every day. I'm manifesting doing a TED Talk. Like, like I'm gonna do it. It's gonna happen. But
Amazing.
it's,
Yes.
but it's obviously it takes the time. It's taking the time and the putting in the work too.
Mhm. Mhm.
But
Absolutely. Absolutely.
well, we could certainly keep going, but we are out of time for today.
Yeah.
But
This was amazing, Lori.
oh,
Thank
this
you.
this was awesome. We'll have to have you come back.
I would love that. Please let me know
Yes.
anytime. I want to continue part two discussion.
I do have some links that you provided that I will be putting into the description of the podcast. But Kim, how can people find you?
On Instagram is my number one way. I'm very active on there. You can message me. I'm very friendly and we'll talk back to you. You won't get a bot. And then on Facebook, I'm more and more active there too. I think those links I provided to you. So they'll be in the show
Yes.
notes. And then right now, guys, I have a wait list coming up. I'm very excited for this too. So if you liked jamming out with my energy and you're sitting there wondering, how do I access this power Kim was talking about? How do I get out of my head and stop overthinking everything and speak from my passion and my love and stop filtering myself and censoring myself? And how do I get on the mic and I want all the practice in a loving, supportive environment? I have an incredible group coaching program coming up soon in October called the Voice of Victory Speakers School. And if people get on the wait list now, you will be able to get an exclusive link with exclusive pricing that no one else is going to find anywhere. And Lori, I'm so excited because I haven't ran a retreat since last October. So there's also going to be tacked on next October a speaker retreat to
Awesome.
get together into, yeah. So those that join the wait list and join the program are going to get exclusive links for that. So there's so many goodies and so many bonuses along the way, but I'd love to see people get on that wait list as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. I'm really grateful that you took the time to come on today, and this was a great conversation. I loved it.
I loved it too. I want to seriously keep talking, but you were lovely. Thank you for this opportunity. And thank you everyone who was watching and listening. I appreciate your attention and thank you for
Absolutely.
the opportunity.
Thank you. And thank you so much for listening, everybody, and taking the time to join us. Kim, like I said, I will provide her links in the description, as well as my contact information to connect with me. You can find me on Facebook under Lori A. Murphy, Empowerment Coach for Women, or you can email me at M as in Michael C empowerment@gmail.com. Let's schedule a call. Let's have a conversation. I'd love to be able to connect with you. And thank you so much, everybody. And until next time, let go of fear and let your spirit shine.